23 ABC News is brought to you in high definition by BMW of Bakersfield. Test drive a new 3 Series today. The only vehicle to win Car and Driver's 10 Best 22 years in a row. The station that covers Kern County. 23 ABC News at 11.
Tonight, President Obama met with top congressional leaders to push them to end the government shutdown. Thanks for choosing 23 ABC News at 11. I'm Jackie Parks.
And I'm Tim Callahan. But 2 days into the shutdown, the meeting didn't move things any closer to a resolution.
The House passed spending measures today that would fund the National Institutes of Health and reopen national parks and monuments. But the White House said they will veto that plan, saying it's the whole government back up and running or nothing. After just 2 days, the shutdown is already having a real impact. Nearly 800,000 federal workers across the country are furloughed, and Head Start estimates that nearly 19,000 low-income children have lost or are at risk of losing education and nutrition services in 11 states.
The president reiterated one more time tonight that he will not negotiate. All we're asking for here is a discussion and fairness for the American people under Obamacare.
And while President Obama says he won't negotiate, House Republicans won't give up their fight over the health care law, which means the shutdown could continue for some time. Meantime, Kern County Congressman David Valadao asked for his pay to be withheld as long as the government shutdown continues. Valadao says while Congress is unable to do its job and pass a federal budget, he does not believe they should receive a salary. The congressman has also co-sponsored legislation to prevent all members of Congress from receiving a salary during the government shutdown.
And Honor Flight veterans conquered 2 barricades in 2 days this week. They refused to let the government shutdown stop them from entering the World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C. 23
ABC's Amanda Gomez joins us now live from Meadows Field Airport, where Kern County veterans recently returned from a trip to our nation's capital with how they would react to a similar situation. Amanda?
Kern County's heroes landed here just Monday night. They were able to see all of the memorials in Washington without any problems, but the director of the Kern County Veterans Services Department says barricades wouldn't have stopped our vets from the trip of a lifetime. For some Honor Flight veterans, the trip to Washington could be their last.
These World War II veterans are dying at an increasingly rapid rate. We're losing them anywhere from 600 to 800 nationally every day. And they're in their 80s, 90s, over 100 years old. And it's important for them to see the memorial that was built for them by the American people to recognize the sacrifices they made to provide the freedom that we all enjoy today.
Monday's government shutdown forced the National Park Service to close the Washington Memorial. But for men who fought and bled for our democracy, a few barricades weren't going to be a problem.
We got through. We were determined to go through anyway.
A group from Mississippi passed through the barricades yesterday, and another group from Illinois today.
I just wanted to see what it looked like. I'm glad they don't have the boys' names up there. I lost an awful lot of good men.
Kern County Honor Flight veterans visited the memorial Sunday.
Everything from beginning to end has been the most spectacular thing that ever happened to me, bar none.
Even though our veterans managed to escape all the chaos in Washington, Dick Taylor, director of Kern County Veterans Services, says they too would break through barriers.
Knowing the men and women, as I do now, that went on this last flight, had this same thing happen while they were there, I suspect they would have gone right on through the barricades. I mean, they did a lot more difficult things when they served in the military than that.
And Taylor says there will be one more honor flight either later this month or in November, and the board is closely watching what happens in Washington. The Republican National Committee is also offering to hire full-time security guards to keep that World War II memorial open, but Democrats are calling that offer a stunt. Reporting live at Meadows Field Airport, Amanda Gomez, 23 ABC.
All right, Amanda, thank you. The Community Action Partnership of Kern says there have been rumors that one of their programs was closed because of the government shutdown, but Cap K wants you to know that that's not true. Their Women, Infants, and Children Nutrition Education and Supplemental Food Program remains open. The program, better known as WIC, relies on federal funds and has 28 clinics that will stay open during the regularly scheduled hours. The USDA gave the state permission to use available funding to continue to provide WIC. Those benefits to all participants and vendors.
All right, now we've got 2 days to the weekend, right? We're getting close to midnight, and we have another dry front moving on through. It would be nice to have one with rain, but not yet. We've got to wait a little longer. We don't see any rain in the 7 or 10-day forecast. And our numbers are nice. We're about the same as we were last night at this time. But as of 11 o'clock now, it's 65. Winds are north at 6, not that windy, but cooler air is slowly starting to trickle in. Look at Porterville, down to 57, 66 in Wasco, Taft at 65. We've got 54 in Tehachapi. The bus stop tomorrow morning at around 7:30, upper 50s, and around 3, mid-70s. The 7-day forecast is coming up. A tiny heat wave on the way for the weekend. Tiny, but substantial. Back to you.
All right, Colin, thanks. Today, a former Bakersfield teacher pled no contest to 2 charges related to a DUI arrest in August. Brandy Lynn Sherman was arrested on a warrant in September for her 4th DUI charge since 2011. Sherman pled no contest to a DUI charge and a charge of driving while her license was suspended. A charge of driving under the influence with 3 or more prior convictions was dropped. Sherman resigned as a teacher at the Community Learning Center last month. She served a short stint in jail back in 2011 and was then sentenced to 3 years probation.
A power surge started a fire at the Plains LPG oil refinery on 7th Standard Road and Beach, northwest of Bakersfield today. Local farmer Mark McClasson sent this video to 23 ABC, and as you can see, a 100-foot tall tower used to heat oil caught fire with flames reaching up to 50 feet in the air. Plant workers stopped the flow of oil to the tower, and crews decided just to let the remaining oil burn itself out. No injuries were reported in this fire. And Cal firefighters are preparing for several days of extreme fire weather across many parts of the state, including Kern County. The National Weather Service has issued a red flag warning for the Kern County mountains due to gusty winds and low humidity. With the increased potential for new fires, Cal Fire has placed additional firefighters on duty. The warning will go into effect early Friday morning and last through Saturday evening. Cal Fire is asking that everyone be extra cautious during the heightened fire danger period.
A meat processing plant up in Hanford is recalling nearly 90,000 pounds of ground beef. The Central Valley Meat Company says the meat that is meant for the National School Lunch Program may contain small pieces of plastic. The beef in 40-pound cases was shipped to the distribution centers in several states. The company and the U.S. Department of Agriculture say there are no reports of anyone getting sick from the beef. The company recalled nearly 60,000 pounds of ground beef last month for the same problem.
Well, prison overcrowding is usually reason for concern, but for one Kern County city, it means a boost to the economy. We'll explain next.
And technology helping to warn residents about sex offenders living in their neighborhood. The goal of a new online resource. Next. The city of Taft is about to get a big boost to its economy. The Community Corrections Facility in Taft is reopening and bringing 500 inmates and $11 million a year to the small west side city. LA County has agreed to send its low-level overflow inmates to the Taft CCF. The facility had been closed for 2 years after the state pulled all of its inmates. 23 of the original employees will get their jobs back, and as many as 40 new employees will be hired.
So that gives us a skilled workforce to train the new ones that are coming in, and we'll be able to integrate them together and have a really good workforce.
Taft will start getting new inmates in mid-November.
And with the release of hundreds of new prisoners, the Kern County Sheriff's Office is taking steps to better inform people about registered sex offenders. The new program, known as Offender Watch, allows people to type in their addresses and receive email alerts anytime a new offender moves into their neighborhood. It also gives people the chance to see if offenders are currently living next door. The program comes at a time when prisoners are being let out of jail early because of prison realignment.
Realignment happening and prisoners being let out of jail and or prison sooner than they were, say, 10, 15, 20 years ago. It's something that is, it's necessary nowadays.
The website can detect offenders within a 2-mile radius of a person's house.
Coming up next, taking the fight against AIDS to the streets of Bakersfield. One woman's quest to bring their struggle out of the shadows.
And then later tonight on Jimmy Kimmel.
Thanks tonight. Kenny Rogers is here to chat and sing. Timothy Allen is with us too. May I call you Tim?
Yes, why don't you?
He's so easygoing.
A lot of people are expected to gather in East Bakersfield this weekend for the annual AIDS Walk.
The event raises thousands of dollars to help fund programs and services being provided for people living with the disease. 23 ABC's Carlos Correa is in studio now with personal stories helping paint a picture of the epidemic. Carlos, good evening.
Tim and Jackie, leaders with the Bakersfield AIDS Project, used the walk to not only educate but pay tribute to all those people, men, women, children, who have lost the battle against AIDS.
This is the first hospice of its kind in Kern County.
There isn't a day that goes by AIDS advocate Audrey Chavez doesn't think of her brother Ricky Montoya.
He was the person who always gathered the family together.
21 years ago, in his honor, Chavez started Ricky's Retreat, providing AIDS hospice and transitional housing, an organization that would somehow be different if Montoya was alive today.
I don't know. I don't know what it would be like, but it would be awesome. It'd be really great to have him, and he's daily missed dearly.
50,000 people are infected with HIV every year.
It's made me appreciate life more.
Tim Zenz has lived with the disease since 2004 and remembers how bad it was before moving into hospice care.
Cab dropped me off. I weighed 125 pounds. The cab dropped me off. I get up on the curb. I get in the walkway, and I fell because I was so weak.
Although treatment has advanced over the years, advocates hope people continue the conversation. They want to use the AIDS Walk to promote awareness and encourage support and compassion for people living with AIDS.
And you might have a person in your life that you don't even know is infected. They don't know they're infected. And everybody needs to get tested.
The walk honors people who have died from AIDS, those living with it, and people who are HIV negative.
Most of us don't ever think it'll happen to us. And so if we look at the risk factors, unprotected sex or blood-to-blood risk, then we have to really be, realistic.
The 3-mile walk starts at Ricky's Retreat at 9 a.m. Saturday near Jefferson Park. In the studio, Carlos Correa, 23 ABC.
All right, Carlos, thanks. A monetary reward for information leading to the arrest in a Delano murder is rising thanks to donations from the community. The reward is now up to $13,000. The Delano Chamber of Commerce had already put up $5,000 to help catch the person responsible for the death of 88-year-old Johnny Espinoza. But since then, $8,000 has come in from community members. Espinoza's body was found last month in the trunk of his car in a canal just east of Delano. So far, no arrests have been made.
Colin Jackson here now with your current cast.
Hey guys, I was looking at the radar over here, and it's kind of interesting because we've got snow in the Cascades, and a foot of snow fell at a mountain called Crystal Mountain, just outside of Tacoma, Seattle, and they got a foot of snow, which is pretty interesting. They're not opening soon, but they got the snow, and we have Sierra Cement. Here it's called Cascade Concrete. It can be pretty wet. Blowing dust advisory for our area starting Friday morning until 11 p.m. As high pressure rebuilds, it really kicks up things from the east. And some places will be in the upper 80s to almost 90 degrees by Saturday because of that pattern. Until then, we have a northwest flow cooling us off rapidly. Right now, we're at 65 degrees, and that is 6 degrees cooler than last night at this time. So, cloud-free. The front came through, it washed out, no rainfall with this one, and now we're still sitting at 65. Winds are northeast at 6. And the dew point is around 40. 50s all over the place. Look at Porterville at 57, 54 Tehachapi, 54 in Lebec. Pretty nice cool night. Wind speed's not a factor here. 17-mile-per-hour winds and 12-mile-per-hour winds to the east of us, but not that strong for this time of night. They'll pick up a little bit tomorrow afternoon out of the northwest, and then very windy on Friday. 81 was the high today. 85 is the average. 59 this morning, right on average. So enjoy the nice weather while it lasts. We wait all summer for this, and so far, most of September and October so far, the couple of days we've been in it, pretty nice. Highs in the low 80s, 74 for Lake Isabella, 69 in Tehachapi, 81 Bakersfield, 84 in Taft. Also 84 in Fresno, 79 in Burbank, 84 in Paso Robles. That's 2 or 3 days in a row now. They've been warmer than we have. And nice and cool in the northern tip of the state. Look at that, Redding at upper 70s, 70 in San Diego. It was only 92 in Palm Springs. So here's the most important map of the night. Winds out of the northwest, blowing on through. 10 to 15-mile-per-hour winds tomorrow. Stronger in the mountains and deserts, of course, up to 30 possibly. And then look at the swing from the east. and that's really going to bring in the heat starting on Friday, resulting in a great weekend. Lows tonight, mid-50s, except Porterville, down to 49. A light northwest wind, and also in the mountains, it sure looks good here. 48 in Lake Isabella, kind of cold in Glenville, 38, and around 40 in Tehachapi. Desert lows will look like this, mid-50s, 58 in Ridgecrest, 59 in Mojave, resulting in highs tomorrow, upper 70s to 80, 85 in Ridgecrest. Northwest winds at around 25 to 35 miles per hour once we get toward the afternoon. 69 at Lake Isabella, 62 Tehachapi, 66 Fraser Park. And on the valley floor, we have numbers that will be very nice for this time of year. Upper 70s for the most part. You might hit 80, but that's nothing. Air quality remains moderate, and we'll hit a low of 56, clear skies. Sunny tomorrow, a few high clouds, 78 the high. And our 7-day forecast gets us closer to the weekend. How about 88 on Saturday and mid-80s on Sunday? Just great weather ahead. We need rain, but not yet.
Still the perfect temperature.
Can't have everything.
We'll still have the perfect temperature.
We will have that.
We'll give out the rain. Thanks, Colin. We'll cover in California tonight. The verdict is in. Today, the jury in the Michael Jackson wrongful death case finished its deliberations after 13 hours. They found concert promoter AEG Live not liable in the pop star's 2009 death. AEG Live hired and supervised Jackson's doctor, Conrad Murray, who was convicted of involuntary manslaughter in 2011. Jackson died of an overdose of the surgical anesthetic propofol, which Dr. Murray administered.
Former radio star Casey Kasem's children, brother, and longtime friends are speaking out tonight after not having heard from him since April. Kasem suffers from Parkinson's disease and has been deteriorating in the past few months, but his family says his current wife has cut off all communication between him and them, and he isn't able to speak for himself. They've attempted to go to his home, however, they have not been allowed in, so they've staged a protest outside in hopes that their father will hear them supporting him through the walls.
He can't really speak, but he knows we're there. And last time we saw him, he could shuffle a little bit. He had a very hard time walking. Probably can't walk anymore. And he was just deteriorating due to Parkinson's disease.
All of his friends and family insist their efforts are not about money. They say they don't know how much longer Kasem has, and they want to be able to say goodbye to their loved one.
A new poll shows most Californians support legalizing pot. The study also shows if Californians got to vote on it, 52% would follow voters in Colorado and Washington who recently legalized it. The legalization movement in those states are considered the biggest recent victories for marijuana advocates. Last November, voters in both states passed initiatives to legalize pot for recreational use. But some opponents don't believe Californians will legalize pot in the next election.
I think we're going to find that the Colorado and Washington experience will prove to be a bad advertisement for legalization in other parts of the country. Already, there are cities in Colorado that are petitioning to be exempted from the legalization ballot measure.
Lovell says the latest measure would allow 40,000 more marijuana shops across the state, and he believes that possibility will keep voters from approving it.
Well, security breach at a local storage locker. Why one woman is blaming management after her belongings went missing. A woman contacted 23 ABC after her storage unit was broken into and said she believes the management did nothing to prevent the crime. Mary Roche got the storage unit during a time of personal hardship and nowhere to put her things, so she decided to store possessions until she could get back on her feet. Everything from furniture and pictures to jewelry and silver were taken. The family now takes issue with the management for what they believe was a lack of security.
And I opened it up and all my stuff was gone. Stuff that I can't return back, can never get back. Stuff for my children, my grandbabies.
They're making sure that a person pays their fee to $100 and over a month to have these security, to have these units, and there's no security.
Crime prevention specialists say the problem with temporary storage facilities is that they aren't built to store valuable items and say the access codes can easily fall into the wrong hands. The Better Business Bureau says consumers need to do their homework before they decide on a specific storage facility.
And a local branch of a nationwide charity is starting the holiday season behind thanks to a break-in. Someone broke the locks off 5 Toys for Tots containers at the Crystal Cathedral Church on White Lane last night. Books and toys were stolen from the containers, though local coordinator Heather Haro said she doesn't know exactly how much was taken yet, though she says part of the inventory carryover from last year, and it was definitely clear what the crooks were looking for.
It says Toys for Tots all over the box. There was no mistake in it, no mistake in what it was or what it was for. They took quite a big dent out of our starting inventory for this Christmas season.
Haro already asked BPD for more patrols in the area, and she's looking for more storage space, about 10,000 square feet or more for the upcoming holiday season. If you'd like to help out, call 717-6868.
Well, city leaders are preparing to reopen the former animal shelter on Mount Vernon Avenue, which was once occupied by the county. Renovations are ongoing at the facility that will be run by the City of Bakersfield and the SPCA. The shelter will be renamed City of Bakersfield Animal Care Center. Volunteers as well as contractors are painting the shelter and preparing the kennels. The city plans to have the Mount Vernon facility up and running by the middle of October.
Coming up next on 23 ABC News at 11, giving back and making a difference Disney style. Why these local kids got to meet their idols, the ice.
Mickey Mouse and some of his closest friends came to town today as part of a partnership between Bakersfield Police Activities League and Disney on Ice. The cast of characters and other skaters met the kids at the PAL facility on East 4th this evening, sharing their experiences traveling the world as part of the On Ice tour group. The kids also got to create paintings of scenes from Disney movies like The Lion King, Lilo and Stitch, and Peter Pan.
It's nice when they come see the show, like in that case, because their faces and the audience is insane when we have shows, so it's really fun to see them enjoy this and enjoy everything, really.
In addition to getting to meet up with Mickey and Minnie, the PAL kids also got a bonus treat: 100 free tickets to Thursday's opening night performance of Passport to Adventure at Rabobank Arena.
Wow, fun day and free tickets. Well, finally here at 11, becoming a pro basketball player must mean you're a pretty good athlete, right? Well, for one NBA player competing at the highest level of his sport, that wasn't enough, so he's learning a new one. Why not, right? Well, sure. Boston Celtics forward Brandon Bass is right there taking up swimming. Despite owning a lakefront home and jet skis, the NBA player says he doesn't know how to tread water. That inspired him, and he's teamed up with the Boys and Girls Club in his area to make sure kids learn how to swim, and also he learns how to swim and he can promote safety. Wouldn't that be crazy to be in the water and you see, hey, I think that guy's in the NBA.
Yeah, he needs to go to the deep end, I think. He needs a little bigger challenge.
2 or 3 strokes and he's at the other end.
Yeah.
Okay. Weather in the 70s tomorrow. We rebound nicely on Friday, a little windy. Saturday and Sunday, a great weekend ahead. We have to watch out for the blowing dust thing on Friday from the east, not the west.
And as we mentioned earlier, that's creating a fire danger in the mountains.
It is, yeah. Red flag warnings, Tehachapi, Kern County Mountains, and all of Los Angeles. So be careful camping,
Yes, be very careful, definitely. That's going to do it for us here at 11. Thank you for joining us. Jimmy Kimmel's coming up next.
Good.